David Yonggi Cho is one of the most successful pastors in South Korea. In fact, in South Korean history, he's gigantic. He's made a lot of money and gotten a lot of people to follow South Korea's Yoido full gospel church. And as he's been doing that, he's been taking a lot of the full bank account that they had and put it into his pocket. And hence he's been caught on that, and he's now facing a prison sentence. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. First, let me tell you all the wonderful things he's taken for the church. First, there was a $12 million church fund that he went ahead and decided should go in his pocket rather than someone else's. And then he took an $18 million severance pay in 2008 as he was leaving. What are you, CEO? What do you run, Bank of America? Which pastor takes an $18 million severance pay? It's crazy. That's awesome. And then he is also accused of embezzling $20 million and privatizing church assets. Because if there's one thing that Jesus would do, it's privatize church assets. Man, no shame whatsoever, right? And that's just some of the charges against him. There's a whole heap of others that are not monetized. Like, we don't know exactly how much he took in the other cases. You just add those three up right there, and you're looking at, what are we looking at? $50 million. Okay, JR just said it right. Jesus. That's how he got the money in the first place. So, what are the charges that he's facing now? Embezzlement charges for encouraging church officials in 2002 to buy stock owned by his son, which, by the way, he wanted them to buy it at 4 times the market price. Well, Jesus would want you to buy his son's stock at 4 times the price, right? Jesus loved the money changers, right? So what did he get? Well, he got 3 years in prison for that and $4.6 million in fines. Now, look, so this looks like a clear-cut case, right? He's a scam artist, he's a fraud, he's a huckster, and he took people's hard-earned money and put it in his pocket. Well, look, on the other hand, what happened was people got hope, and he built up a massive church, and people willingly paid him. Now, did they think that he was going to spend it on, religious funding? Yeah, I guess they thought that. Did they think he was going to spend it on the poor? Really? But yeah, I guess they probably did. But mainly they were giving it to him because they felt hopeful. Like, oh yes, great. Oh my God. He had, before, when he was a Buddhist, he was near death from tuberculosis, and he says, Jesus came down and saved him. And he started preaching in the 1950s and built up this giant congregation of South Koreans who couldn't wait to give him money, right? So my, sympathy for them is significant on the one hand because they got taken in by what appears to be a crook, and now literally, since he's convicted, a embezzler, a fraud, a crook by definition, right? On the other hand, why'd you give him the money, man? You really the guy, with all the fancy houses and the cars, etc. You think he was going to give it to the poor, not his sons and not himself? So look, don't give to these religious leaders. They don't have the best intentions. If there's already a charity set up that you know is effective, and it's a Christian charity or a religious charity, and it gives money to the poor, the needy, for education, etc., great, do that. Don't just trust one religious leader and just give him all your money. He's going to take it home. I'm telling you ahead of time. So this guy did it in the past, but there's going to be another guy a year from now and a year from now. Each time they're going to take your money and you're going to go, I can't believe it. This guy told me that he was for Jesus and I gave him all my money and turns out he was for himself. Well, believe it. Okay. Now the question then arises, 3 years in prison and giving back $4.6 million out of at least $50 million that he took. I'm wondering, what would Jesus do?
What would Jesus do?
If not for Jesus, perhaps our very own Jesus of East LA. Jesus, that seems like a pretty good deal, but I don't know. What do you think? You give back about $5 million of the $50 million you took, but 3 years in prison.
It's really hard to say no to that. I mean, you're coming up with over $40 million in your pocket, or close to. No, you're at 50. You said 50.
Yeah. So he's at least $45 million in his pocket.
You can't. I mean, I wouldn't want to be that guy who's giving away like this false hope to a really poor nation. Like if it was rich, like conservatives or Tea Partiers, and Sorry. But,
So if your congregation is the Koch brothers and those folks,
yeah,
you're like, oh,
totally.
yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad at all. Like 3 years game.
See, I think he would make the argument, hey, look, South Korea is much better off today than it was back then. I gave them hope. They worked hard, and by working hard, they wound up in a better position than they were now.
But like, why wouldn't you stop like at 2 million? Like you always say, like stop at like 2.5 million. You don't need to go to 45
No, there's
million.
no way he was going to stop at 2.5 million.
But
No, but the thing is, of course you're right, Jesus. And what would Jesus do? He'd stop stealing your money at about $2.5 million. Look, if he'd stopped at unreasonable, like I don't know, unreasonable, like 20 million.
Yeah.
If he'd stopped at 20 million, he definitely would have gotten away with it, right? And he would still have his great reputation. He wouldn't go to prison, etc., right? But that's the thing about greed. You can never stop. That's why the real Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple first.